Hi, this is Eternal King here, bringing you another RPG video today. I wanted to very quickly knock out the other two weapon types for AC6, those being kinetic weapons and energy weapons. Both kinetic weapons and energy weapons are exceptionally popular and exceptionally powerful in terms of their performance in PvP ranked. Starting off talking about burst rifles, I would say the Ransetsu AR is exceptionally powerful. It shoots in 3-round bursts. The RF Ransetsu instead is more of a charged burst rifle, so it's not quite as effective as just the straight 3 shots you get off the AR. But the Ransetsu AR very good. It has a cute curved design of the magazine connecting to the barrel. I like it a lot. Talking about linear rifles, the Harris is a straight upgrade over the Curtis. It deals more damage, more stagger damage. You can dual wield them. They're exceptionally powerful. You can fire them charged or you can fire them uncharged, and they're kind of good either way. Talking about the Scudder, it's kind of a straight upgrade over the Turner. The Turner being your default assault rifle. So absolutely give the Scudder a try. You can dual wield it and kite people, and it's going to be pretty good. After that, you have your machine guns. You've got your 2 light machine guns, the Ludlow and the Changshen, and then the heavy machine gun, the Attaché. I do like to dual wield the 2 heavy machine guns, but if you prefer lighter builds, you also have the lighter machine guns, which perform similarly. Most common of all the machine gun types, though, I find is the burst machine gun, the Etsujin. The Etsujin has very high stagger potential, and it's pretty powerful dual wielded, and it's very light. As well, so good for kiting builds, which are very popular. Then we have the Gatling gun. If you want to rock Gatling guns in like a fight club, it's going to work just fine. If you want to rock Gatling guns in ranked, you're probably going to get kited out pretty badly, which is, we're going to talk about the meta very quickly. The meta in Armored Core ranked, basically A rank and above, is 2 builds. Either you run shotguns, so you run Zimmermans, and you basically just brush people, and you shoot them for the stagger, and then you kick them, and you shoot them for the stagger, and you kick them, and you basically chain stun them that way, just being like right up in their face. Or the other way to play Armored Core 6 ranked is to spend the entire fight running away, and then accumulating damage through things like kinetic weapons and combined with missile lock, and essentially just spacing the opponent out for the entire game. Those are the 2 methods of playing AC6 and ranked. It's either kiting builds. If you don't know, kiting is a term from like Diablo, where forcing opponents to chase you. It's called a kite, because it looks like it's the string of a kite leading along. So kiting builds and then shotgun builds are the 2 meta builds in Armored Core 6 ranked and A rank and above. So obviously shotguns being very good, with Zimmerman being the best one, but the other shotguns are actually surprisingly decent. Talking about handguns, handguns are pretty good, but they have a very slow-moving projectile. So the big problem in, of course, ranked when you're facing kiting builds is they're highly mobile. So they're going to be doing a lot of left and right strafing, and if you just fire at the person with target lock, with handguns, their normal strafing will likely, the projectiles will just miss them with these sort of heavier handgun builds. But assuming that you're not facing a kiting build specifically, the handguns are actually pretty good. If you can actually land your shots, they're pretty decent. So moving on to kind of energy weapons now. Stun guns are okay. Again, the stun guns are nice if you want to build up status on your opponent. There's only 2 status builds in AC6. It's either fire or stun, and they're pretty uncommon either way. You won't run into a lot of status users in Armored Core 6, unlike Elden Ring, where status is very popular, but it's there if you're interested in using it. Talking about laser okay, of course we talked about, the other status being fire. So Bad Cook is an explosive weapon that does fire damage, so that's the other status in the game. Talking about laser rifles, they're pretty straightforward. They just get bigger. They get bigger and they deal more damage, but the way that the projectiles track and function don't change much. You can charge them to make the laser very big, or you can just fire them off, at which point the laser is very small and easy to strafe dodge, which is problematic. And you'll see that with all the laser weapons, where they're just inherently very easy to strafe, and it makes them slightly problematic from a damage perspective. But if you are going to use a laser rifle, you can just kind of go big or go home. With the VE66, I've seen people rock 2 of these, and even if it's like a tank you're facing against, like max HP, these will just melt them because it's so much damage in a small package. Laser shotguns are a bit nicer. I find they have a wider spread. So if you want to engage people who are strafing left and right quite a bit, laser shotguns will actually likely still hit them for chip damage. So that's the nice thing about the laser shotguns. Plasma is very good. Plasma, I think, is inherently just kind of better than laser because it has built-in AoE. So even if people are strafing left and right, you can use the explosive weapon technique of hovering in the air a little bit and then aiming your shots towards the ground, and then the AoE will still hit the target even if they're strafing left and right, which makes them slightly superior to laser in my opinion, Plasma just being slightly better. Multi-energy rifle is very interesting. It is basically a charged laser and plasma rifle combined together. So if you charge it for 2 iterations, it'll have both a charged laser effect and a charged plasma effect at the same time. I like these quite a bit. They're very heavy though. And again, as we've kind of discussed, with the meta being either fast or kind of, I would call them medium build shotgun mechs. So they can take a bit of a beating, but they can get into your face and get those shotgun trades. Or very light builds that can spend the entire fight running away. That is the meta. So using something like a multi-energy rifle, which is very, very heavy and is definitely going to have you under 300 speed, the multi-energy rifle is not going to be meta. Any heavy energy weapons are not going to be meta, or because again, it's only those 2 things that you'll see online. Talking about some of the shoulder-based kinetic and energy weapons, the shoulder-based Gatling cannons are okay. So if you want to run 4 Gatling cannons, 4 chain guns, in a fight club where opponents will actually engage with you and fight you at a decent range and actually try to blow you up, because again, fight clubs are moderated. Basically, the fight club owner will kick people for running away or not engaging in the fight. So something like a chain gun build, which is designed to function at close to medium range, is actually going to be useful in a fight club because people will engage with you at close to medium range, which just won't happen otherwise. It'll either be dead range, so shotguns being 0 range right in your face, or it's going to be long range kiting builds. There's nothing in between in terms of ranked otherwise. Talking about laser cannons, so obviously again, heavy weapons like the VE60 LCA, the damage is amazing. So like in a fight club, if you want to rock the 60 LCA, you'll kill people in like 2 shots with this thing. You got 2 60 LCAs and on a mech, and you just trade with something, like it could be a shotgun build or whatever, it doesn't matter. You just trade with them with those 2 cannons and they'll just be dead. Their HP pool will just be gone after 2 shots from each of your shoulders on this thing. Like the damage is insane. It's the highest damage shoulder weapon in the game. But again, in ranked, you'll just get kited at max distance. It's not going to matter. Talking about some of the other laser cannons, obviously the LCS is very portable, and then the LCB is somewhere in the middle, and then the diffuse, again, the shotgun laser being the LCD. So having similar problems to other things that we've discussed. I forgot to mention pulse cannons. So pulse cannons are also, strictly speaking, an energy weapon, and they are these guys. So the HI-18 and the HI-16, they're like energy machine guns. They're kind of just worse than kinetic weapons right now. They deal more stagger damage than a kinetic machine gun. They have an interesting projectile pattern, but they overheat very quickly. But you could probably make them work. If you want to rock 4 pulse guns, I played around with it. It is okay. I would say that they could use a slight buff in terms of how quickly they overheat, though. That's the big thing holding them back right now. But again, if Armored Core 6 was ever to get like a recent patch or a decent patch, or any post-launch support, kind of like Elden Ring has been getting some great post-launch support, I would highly recommend a buff to pulse guns. Obviously, then you have kind of plasma missile launchers. Plasma missile launchers are pretty good because they have more of an AoE than actual like missiles. Missiles don't have any AoE to them. They have a lot of tracking, but they are similar to kinetic weapons, just a normal projectile. They're a projectile that hits a target or it misses a target. It doesn't do much else. And then you have sort of things like orbits and drones. Typically, drones are more popular than orbits. So you'll see a lot of like VC 700 LD because it's exceptionally light, and it's a great way to harass someone at long range. You basically just charge it up, and then the laser drones will surround your target and shoot lasers at them. And because they're so light and because they're so damage effective, they're considered high efficiency. And then once again, the problem with the orbits is that they are very weak to strafing. So any sort of orbit or turret, you just strafe left and right, which is what the kiting builds are going to do, and then you just won't hit them. So again, laser drone is more meta than laser orbit, for example. I think that's a pretty good rundown of all the remaining weapons in Armored Core 6 in terms of kinetic and energy. They're very powerful. Kinetic and energy are definitely more meta than explosive. I was amazed that I was able to do as well as I did in AC6 ranked using explosive weapons only, because after A rank, it's basically just kiting builds. Shotgun builds are fine. Shotgun builds are free for an explosive build. You'll outtrade them, you'll blow them up. You'll have no problem killing shotgun builds. They're right in your face most of the time. But the kiting builds, you'll just be like assault boosting at them at full speed the entire fight and not catch up, because again, their build is going to be like 350 speed. Your build is going to be like 260 speed. They're just like a Ferrari and you're a truck. It's not going to work out very well in your favor. But again, some patches in the future, maybe a rules change or two to online, and explosive builds could be right there. They could be absolutely meta-defining. The power's there, the problem is the speed isn't there. And as long as running away is more efficient than fighting online, explosive weapons will never be fully meta. This is Eternal King, signing out.